Welcome to the Radisson Blu Scandinavia Hotel here in Copenhagen, Denmark. I stayed here for 3 nights and here's what I liked and did not like today on Marcus Travels. The first thing that I like is the room design. It is a pretty rational design, it's quite cozy, they have limited space but they're doing a good job with what they have in this small room. Now, for it to be a great room, everything would have to work, which it doesn't, and we'll come to that in the cons, but as designed, it is a pretty nice hotel room. For me, one of the highlights is the cozy armchair by the window. It reclines very, very far. It's quite comfortable. The second thing that I like is that they are trying to be very sustainable, as always here in the Nordic countries. All of the toiletries are in dispensers and not in individual packages. They also don't have any bottled water, rather, they give you one of these glass water bottles that you can fill up yourself from the tap. The bottle is a little bit too big to fit comfortably under the tap, but it's a pretty good idea, at least. And speaking of bottles, there is a fridge here in the room, but it was not pre-stocked with minibar products, which is great. Then I got to use the fridge for myself. The third pro of this hotel is the location. We are not quite in the thick of downtown. It's about a 25-minute walk here to the central area of Copenhagen. But there are many amenities here in the Islandsbrygge neighborhood within walking distance. That includes restaurants, even very nice restaurants, and shops as well. For a quick snack, there is a gas station just down the street. When I got here from the airport, I took the metro. It did require one change in the metro system, but it was just walking across the platform at the same station, so it was actually very convenient. The walk from the metro station to the hotel entrance is around 5 minutes. Overall, I do like this neighborhood. There are lots of new buildings here. I imagine that this was maybe an old port or industrial area that has been rejuvenated with a lot of new construction, and I like the style of it. I paid for this stay myself so that you get a non-sponsored and authentic travel review. Welcome to my channel, Marcus Travels. We'll talk more about the price and the value for money at the end of the video. My purpose for this stay was actually to speak at a conference. Look, here's my beautiful conference badge. I will talk more about the conference experience at the end of the video, because now we're going to jump into the many cons of the Radisson Blu Scandinavia Hotel. The first con, and this really colored my first impression of the hotel, was the horrendous check-in experience. Down by the reception there were plenty of self-check-in kiosks, but there were also plenty of staff guiding and helping the guests to check in, and that is already a sign that something is wrong with your process if everybody needs to be helped. Let's step into the details. When you check into a hotel, typically you only need your passport or your ID card. That is what I had as well, but this system required also the reservation number. So I gave my ID card to the staff member. He went to the office behind the closed door to look up my reservation number, and then he came back. Then he entered all the data on there, and this system actually required a lot of data entry. Normally, all of your key details, name, email address, physical address, all of that would be part of the reservation, but here it needed to be entered once again, and he stood there entering it while I told him. This is such an inefficient process. He said that it is required to create a profile in the system. Terrible. When it came time to accept the terms and conditions by signing on the screen, I had to do it 3 times before it worked. Once all of that was complete, the screen stated the amount to be paid, which was 0 Danish krone. The staff member said that even though it says 0 on the screen, there is still an amount to be paid, namely the full amount for the stay. The payment worked fine, and then I wanted a printed invoice. Oh yeah, before that too, I wanted to put my Radisson Rewards number in there, but you couldn't put just a number, you had to put your email address on there. But I did not want to associate my private email address that has the rewards information with my company address where the invoice would be sent. And apparently the system accepts nothing else but the email address. This is terrible. Okay, so now I want my invoice. I asked the staff member for a printed invoice. Once again, he cannot print it himself. He has to go back to the office behind the closed door and then bring me the printed invoice. And that ends the first time I visit the check-in desks. There will be 2 more just to complete this check-in. On that invoice, my address was incorrect. I needed to have the company address on there, but what the travel agent had supplied was the travel agency's address. That's not good enough. So I come back down to reception and ask them to change the address. What is the procedure for this? Well, I have to take my printed invoice, write with a pen the updated address, and then the staff member goes back into the office behind the closed door and changes this for me. And I was expecting a normal process where they just bring me back the invoice with the corrected address. No, that did not happen. What she told me is that she will have to ask her manager, who will then update the address for me, and then they will call me when the invoice is ready. Okay, so I go back to the room. 20 minutes later, they give me a call. They say they have corrected the invoice. I was expecting them to bring it to me, but no, I had to go down to reception a 3rd time to finally get the corrected invoice. I think you can tell that this horrible, clunky check-in experience where nothing worked as a normal hotel check-in process should really gave me a bad first impression of the Radisson Blu Scandinavia. If you're getting value from the video, please hit the like button. Thanks for doing that. The rest of the cons are going to be shorter. Here is con number 2. There is a problem in the bathroom. It takes ages to get hot water in the shower. To begin with, the shower pressure here on floor number 25 is terrible, but it literally takes minutes to get a decent temperature on the water. And you keep turning the handle and then it'll of course be far too hot because it takes so long to react. Another small problem, and maybe this is just me being stupid, but in front of the toilet there is the glass wall to the shower. It is glass. It has no like stickers on it or anything like that, so it's very easy to hit your head on that wall when you're getting up from the can. That has happened to me more times than I would care to admit. The 3rd bucket of cons relate to technology in the room. Firstly, there are only 3 user-accessible outlets around the room, 1 by the desk and 1 by each side of the bed. That is too few in this day and age. In addition, the Wi-Fi is excruciatingly slow. My conference presentation relied on me doing a live demo which required internet access, and all they could offer me is the same Wi-Fi that is here in the room. And this sometimes takes a minute to load a web page. It is terrible quality, the Wi-Fi here in the room. And then the last point about technology is that there is a big TV here in the room on my right, but it doesn't work. None of the channels actually have a signal. I asked at the reception for them to have a look. Somebody came up here and said, no, there's nothing we can do. That TV is broken. So it was not that the remote was out of batteries or anything like that. They just said there is literally nothing they can do. I just hope they fix it for the next guest. On some level, I don't really need the TV channels as long as I can cast from my phone, but that was also not possible on this Samsung Smart TV. Pointless. The last bucket of cons, they all relate to the conferencing facilities. They are somewhat nice. There are many different rooms on floor number 3, which is the conferencing floor. There are lots of different spaces and you can make different sizes by using these temporary walls. However, they don't really do a lot of good soundproofing, so you can easily hear applause and music from the conference room next door, so that's not really that good. But somehow the layout still is quite nice, and you have these little chairs where you can get a little privacy when you're working on your laptop or your phone, so that aspect of it is in principle quite nice, if only everything worked. We had so many technical hiccups during the conference. During the very first morning of the conference, the projector cut out multiple times, which was very frustrating for the speakers, of course. Later on in the day, we were in a different room, and once again there were problems with the projector, and the speakers were not able to see their slides. At one point, the speaker slides were not working, so I proposed that we switch the agenda, because I was the speaker after her, and I said that maybe I would have better luck because I don't use slides, I use a live demo instead. That also did not work. There was something fundamental wrong with the connection to the projector.
So let me say something about myself at least. So my name is Marcus Seppala. Indeed, I work as the head of executive compensation at a... Okay, so shall we take another break then and then come back in 15 minutes or something like that?
This is the type of stuff that should just work if you're running a professional conferencing facility. The fact that we have these technical glitches in both rooms really gives a very bad impression of the conferencing facilities here at the Radisson Blu Scandinavia. For me personally, on my presentation, I wasn't too shaken. I've been doing stand-up comedy for close to a decade. I can handle things that go a little bit wrong. In fact, I have a keynote speech called Leadership Lessons from the Comedy Club. In that workshop, you will learn communication skills that they don't teach you in a traditional presentation skills workshop, including what to do when something goes wrong. You can book me for your next conference. Just go to marcuspresents.com or use the link in the description below. Now let's talk about the price and the value for money. The total price I paid for my 3-night stay was 5,283 Danish krona, which is around $831 US. I think you will not be surprised to hear that I don't think that is great value. When the basics don't work, you don't have a smooth check-in process, the Wi-Fi doesn't work, the shower really doesn't work, and when the conferencing facilities, that is your flagship product, don't work, no, this is not a great place. I would not stay at the Radisson Blu Scandinavia again. When I got here, I flew Zurich to Copenhagen on Air Baltic, and that's the same connection I'm gonna take back later today. Click or tap the screen right here to watch my full review of that product, which I have flown in the past. It is my favorite narrow body aircraft. So check out that video now. Thank you very much for watching Marcus Travels, and I will see you in the next video.